Okay, I have a funny football story. I had posted about the football and so shocked that it was being played in San Francisco. And how did I miss that? And then my sister sent me a message, and it was being played in Santa Clara, which is nearby. But, or, I don't know. I really don't know distance and location. But then it reminded me of Santa Clara because I had in 2006 was in Santa Clara. My husband and I were in Santa Clara with my daughter and her friends. We were celebrating her birthday. And so I wanted to do something really, really special. So she had her and her friends, and we were at some really nice hotel. And I had rented a suite. It was beautiful. And it was, just something I wanted to do for a special event for my daughter. Anyway, we get there, and there's like a lounge area where they're allowing the people there that at this hotel that was near the, Great America. And there were all these really huge guys. Now, I'd have to ask my husband if he remembers. It was either I think it was a bunch of retired 49ers. There were a couple Raiders or vice versa. And they were raising money, doing some event to raise money for, my understanding was like retired football players who had come upon like hard times medically or financially to raise money for them. And what was so funny is, oh, by the way, I'm Laura at Laura Talks Softer. I never get dressed up fancy or anything. I'm going there to really stay in the room kind of thing. Maybe go around, but not. I didn't think some big event was going to be going on there. So I'm dressing like my usual casual self, which my daughter calls it the roll out of goodwill. Is motif the right or fashion design? So I'm there just dressed like I usually am. And, I'm noticing these women are all fancy, and they're wearing like plunging necklines and short dresses. And I'm looking at the men, and then, I'm putting two and two together. These women were not with these men, I don't think, on dates. They were trying to pick up some, I think, retired football players. Well, a couple of them, were like actually pretty friendly to me and talked to me, but I didn't know who they were. I don't even remember. I mean, I think they might have been people that were maybe well known, and I took pictures with my little camera that I had. They had like film that you didn't do, and I ended up, the camera didn't develop any of the pictures. The whole film got exposed, so it was just a mess. There was no evidence of this, nothing. So I'm wondering if my husband remembers if they were retired 49ers or retired there was one of one, and then the rest were the others. But they were big. I couldn't believe how small I felt around these guys. They were so big. These were big men. They were tall. They were wide. And, I'm 5'4". I'm not built like a petite. I'm not petite, but I really felt quite small around them, but, felt kind of large around the women that were trying to pick them up. They were all, skinny minis and their fake boobies. No, I remember that clearly. But, yeah, so that was interesting. So the Super Bowl yesterday was played in Santa Clara, not San Francisco, as I posted before. I was so shocked. Yeah, I don't follow football. I do not follow football. I know that I did meet a long time ago a retired, very well-known Pittsburgh Steeler, and I can't even remember his name. He passed through my workplace, but and he had Super Bowl rings on his hands. So it was when the Pittsburgh Steelers were winning a lot of Super Bowls, but other people knew who it was. I'm just like oblivious. I know there's the names I can think of is Joe Namath, Joe Montana, right? What other football players can you think of their names? Joe Montana, Joe Namath, right? That's his name. I can't think of anybody else. I can think of more Golden State Warriors than I can of football players. But yeah, at one time, I understand that the 49ers were like a really, really great football team. They were winning a lot. But, yeah, I really liked that movie with Will Smith when he played the doctor who had discovered the brain damage that happens with football players. It's not my sport. All right. Have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe. Did you ever play football? Do you have family members that play football? Is football part of the culture in your family? My dad he never watched football, huh? He was not into any sports. I know my grandpa, my mother's father, liked boxing and baseball, I think, but she's shaking her head. Yeah, I'm watching her. But yeah, we're getting the doors that I talked about that I posted. They're here working on them, and I'm cleaning the side of the house. I'm wearing my hat still, my hat with the fuzzy balls. Have a good day. Peace.